Hi guys, my name is Addie. Welcome back to my channel. This week's video, I'm personally so excited about it. If you do not already know or have not made it abundantly clear, I am a huge Taylor Swift fan. With a new album drop, I gotta combine my two favorite things, Taylor Swift and books. So I am going to be doing a book recommendation for every song on the album. And yes, I'm going to be doing all 31. No repeats. Yep. Thanks Taylor for that one, because I've been playing this video like for months, like when I heard this, and I was like, okay, perfect, I'll just, like, it's 15 songs, you know, like I was really like, it was gonna be like, oh, like a fun little thing. And then 2 a.m. rolls around and I'm staring at the 15 extra songs on Spotify and I'm like, all I could think about was this video, and I was like, oh my god. But we're gonna do it, and because of this, I have gotten quite creative with some of the correlations between the two. It's all for fun. So anyway, I'm super excited about this video. I wore my But Daddy I Love Him shirt for it, obviously. Let's just get on into it. First song is Fortnite featuring Post Malone. And for the book that I chose for this one, I did Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And I thought this one worked really well because it's like, for a fortnight there we were forever. And the main girl, Kaya, had kind of an affair with like the town like golden boy, and she's kind of the marsh girl. But Chase is found dead and everyone thinks that she did it, but because they were together like secretly for a fortnight, and the other are around a fortnight. I don't know how long it was. And then one of the lyrics is also, my husband is cheating, I want to kill him. Also, I should preface this, I'm not going to go like in deep why some of these lyrics relate, because that's definitely a spoiler. Proceed with caution on this. Some of the lyrics correlate to things that happen in the books, so it's kind of spoilery, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is a spoiler because this and this happens in the book. I'm just gonna be like, this song relates to it, because you're just gonna have to trust me on that. So, and if you know, you know. The next song on the album is The Tortured Poets Department. For this song, I'm choosing Daisy Jones and the Six because they're both songwriters. It's about a band. They're, you know, they're tortured poets, and one of the lyrics is, who's gonna hold you like me, who else decodes you like me. And it's basically like, in the book, like they kind of really have like a deep understanding for each other within the band, and because they're kind of they're tortured artists. Like, they're not good for each other, but you know, they understand each other. So I thought this book was good for that. Okay, the next song on the album is My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, and I chose Normal People by Sally Rooney for that. And this was one of those books that could have been related to a lot of songs on this album. It's a frustrating book. They're super flawed characters. They dance around each other for so long. They're together and then they're not. It's so turbulent and it's so character driven, and I feel like this book really, it could relate to a lot of songs on this album. And a few lyrics that stood out to me for this was, he was my best friend down at the Sandlot. They've known each other since high school. Like, they've known each other for so long. Like, this story is over the span of years and years and years, and they met when they were so young. Another lyric is, once I fix me, he's going to miss me. Again, like I said, they're super flawed characters. You are not going to get likable characters in this book, and I feel like Marianne is always like, thinks that something's wrong with her. Like, she's like, maybe he'll stay once I fix whatever is going on. The other lyric is, there's danger in the heat of my touch, he saw forever, so he smashed it up. And I felt like, especially in the high school years, like he was kind of more popular and she was very like kind of an outcast, you know, but like he really liked her, and I think that it really scared Connell, and he was so anxious and it scared the crap out of him. So I feel like those lyrics, I feel like some of the lyrics related, so that's why I ended up choosing this for My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. For the next song is Down Bad. I chose The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han, and I chose this book specifically because the lyric is, now I'm down bad crying at the gym, everything comes out, teenage petulance, fuck it if I can't have him. And I feel like everything about that just screams this book. Like, Belly has always just been so down bad for Conrad, just like since she was kids. And it's always kind of like, fuck it if I can't have him, you know? Like, she's so clear just from the very beginning. Like, she's always been so down bad for him, so I picked this book for that song. The next song, So Long London. Devastating song calls for a devastating book. I'm going Magnolia Park's Long Way Home specifically because just the title of the song, So Long London. I honestly just can't say why, but I'm trying not to do any spoilers, but it's kind of hard, especially with like a second book in a series. And the lyrics is that really made me think of this, besides like just the title of the song in general. This one was so easy. Like when I heard So Long London, I immediately was like, Magnolia Parks. One lyric is thinking how much sad did you think I had? Oh, the tragedy, so long London. I just think BJ puts Magnolia through the fucking ringer. At some point, it's like, how much do you think this girl can take? And another lyric that really made me think of it was, you sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. Which, what a bar, honestly. And like, he does what he does because he's a troubled man. He has a lot of trauma. That trauma ends up really coming out and really negatively affecting Magnolia. So this book was tragic for a tragic song, so I feel like this was just so obviously equated to that song. I'm trying so hard in here not to spoil anything, but like with a song recommendation, like sometimes the song just spoils it, but like you don't know context, so I'm trying. Okay, next song. But Daddy, I Love Him. I chose for this song Finding 13 by Chloe Walsh. And I chose this because Shannon's family just really did not approve of Johnny, and Johnny was really the sweetest man in the entire world and just wanted what's best for her. And the two lyrics that I really thought, like they were like, oh, like the father in this book is super abusive, and everyone was like, oh my god, he's gonna be just like the dad, like you're getting yourself into a bad relationship, like blah, like, but it was just like a lot of projection from her mom. The song was screaming, but Daddy, I love him, I'm having his baby, no I'm not, but you should see your faces. I chose this because literally like the entire time, like they were like, you're gonna get pregnant. So that was like a big concern in this book. I thought that reminded me of that. And one lyric that really stood out to me was, I don't cater to all these vipers dressed in empath's clothing. God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me. And I think viper dressed in empath's clothing is the best way to describe Shannon's parents, and judgmental creeps, Shannon's parents. So I thought this worked so perfectly for this song. The next song is Fresh Out the Slammer, and this is one that I had to get a bit creative with, but I think it works. I did Addicted to You by Kristen Becker Ritchie, and I chose this. It's not a perfect comparison, however, I did feel like some of the lyrics definitely worked pretty well. One of them is, ain't no way I'm gonna screw it up now that I know it's at stake. Lo's an alcoholic, Lily's a sex addict, and when they get together they are trying so hard to like choose each other over their addictions, and I feel like knowing that each other is at stake keeps them from relapsing, and like it keeps them trying so hard. Also, the other lyric is camera flashes, welcome bashes, and the camera flashes just remind me because they're kind of what's the word, they're like famous, but like they're not really they're kind of like Kardashian famous, like they're not like famous for like anything in particular, but like the camera flashes just reminded me of that. So this book I feel went pretty well with Fresh Out the Slammer. Next song is Florida, and this is another one getting real creative here. There's like one lyric in particular. It's say you work, oh, I should probably tell you the book first. It's King of Greed by Anne Huang, and I felt like the lyric, so you work your life away just to pay for a timeshare down in Destin, and I feel like this one worked because like the main guy, Dominic, he did not grow up rich. Basically, like he keeps wanting more and more because he grew up poor, so like he's constantly working, and he loses his wife in the process, which is, I feel like, losing your life away just to pay her way basically. So that kind of reminded me of that, kind of like the rags to riches kind of vibe, and kind of working your life away. And I don't know, it was this is very loose comparison to this, but it works. The next song is Guilty as Sin, which I feel like I have a book recommendation that's like a lot more close to the song for this one. And I picked A Court of Thorns and Roses for this because There's a few lyrics that I think relate. This is one of them where like the lyrics don't really relate until like kind of the second book, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's I dream of cracking locks, throwing my life to the wolves. The wolf just reminded me of like one of the first chapters where she kills a wolf, and that doesn't have anything to do with the lyrics, but it, I don't know, kind of works. And basically like just wanting to leave a bad situation. And the next one is how I long for our trysts without ever touching his skin, where she's kind of like, she's imagining things and with someone who is not her man. She was longing for the love interest a lot long before they got together. And what if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? And if you know something about the mates in Sarah J. Maas books, they can like talk mind to mind, and that reminded me a lot of A Court of Thorns and Roses, because Farrah and her mate talk from mind to mind, and like he sounds like there's like visions being sent down the mind like Miss Taylor is describing. So this book definitely reminds me of Guilty as Sin. The next song is one of my personal favorites, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. And the book that like there's so many books that you can relate to this song, I feel, but the one that I feel like works the best is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And this book fits so perfectly with this song. I have like so many lyrics pinned for this. If you wanted me dead, you should have just said, nothing makes me feel more alive. And that really makes me think of Jude and Carden and like all of Carden's friends, because like pretty clearly want this girl dead, and she's like, she takes it like a champ, to be honest. She's like, let me show you, and I love that about her. And then crash the party like a record scratch as I scream, who's afraid of little old me? You should be, because, well, first off, she is a human in the fairy realm, and so people really underestimate her, but she is so fierce and so tough. And she's like, well, who's afraid of little old me? But like, you definitely should be afraid of Jude. And even though she's a human, she is very fierce, and she actually does crash a party. It was, oh, this lyric too, I was tame, I was gentle, to the circus life made me mean, don't you worry folks, we took out all her teeth. And she was born in the human world, and growing up in fairy like forced her to become mean. It forced her to become cunning and just to like survive as a human in this realm. So that reminded me of that. And the last lyric is, I want to snarl and show you just how disturbed this has made me. You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me. And that just reminded me of her being like raised by fairies. Like, you wouldn't survive a second in that asylum. And I know I wouldn't. Like, just hearing about her childhood, I'd be like, So this book is definitely just the epitome of Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. The next song is I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. We've all been there. So the book I chose for this is, I know I said no repeats, and this is not technically a repeat. I'm doing Magnolia Parks again, but the first Magnolia Parks. So it's a different book, just the same series. And I chose this one because I feel she just cannot lose this man. They just can't lose each other. And I feel like in her head she's always like, he'll change, I'll fix him, blah blah blah. And one lyric is, I can fix him, no really I can, and only I can. And Magnolia and Rachel just have that relationship where like, it's true, like literally only she could fix him. Like no other girl could have that power to fix him. So I thought like the only I can part really stood out to me. Plus at the end she goes, oh, maybe I can't, because Magnolia does go through a lot of doubts throughout this book, being like, maybe he's just too far gone, you know, like, or maybe I can't forgive him for the things he's done, or like whatever. So I feel like I don't think it counts as a repeat, but I just feel like it works so well. The next song is LOML. LOML. That is a tongue twister. And for this book I chose Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, because the one lyric at the end is, you're the loss of my life, and this song in this book is a second chance romance with a divorced couple, and it kind of goes, a lot of the book is them going through their divorce and like being divorced. So it is like when she loses him, like he is the loss of her life. The other lyric that may remind me of it is, who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we know the steps anyway. And I feel like even when they're divorced, like they danced around each other, like they were so tempted. It's so comforting to go back to like that person you know so well. And like, you know the steps anyway, like you know that person so well, like it's so comfortable, like it's so easy to go back to someone like that you've built a life with. And so I felt like that really related. And another one was What We Thought Was For All Time Was Momentary, Still Alive, Killing Time at the Cemetery. And there's a lot to unpack there, and I feel like what we thought was for all time was momentary. Like when you get married, you think you're gonna be there for the all time, and killing time at the cemetery, that line really relates, I feel, to the reason, the catalyst for the divorce. I'm not gonna say what it is, but if you read it you'd understand. And this book is so devastating, but it's so raw, but it's such a beautiful love story. It's more than just a romance, and I love this book. The next song is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, and I feel like this book that relates to that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because there is tons of heartbreak in this book. She's had 7 husbands, she's had 7 divorces, so girl has gone through a lot of heartbreak. But she's like this Hollywood starlet. She is like the it girl, the like Marilyn Monroe type, so she can do it with a broken heart. And part of the song is they said, babe, you gotta fake it till you make it, and I did. And she totally faked it till she made it, because she did not come from a rich background. She grew up super poor, and she was also, I'm pretty sure she was Latina, and at the time in like the 60s she had to overcome that obstacle, and so she just had to fake it till she made it, and she did. And then the next lyric is lights, camera, bitch, smile even when you want to die. And like she was always like the glitz and the glamour, like she was always on movie sets. Girlie was kind of going through the ringer of her love life, and I feel like if she was alive now she would have ate this song up. Like it would have been her cry song, like before getting on set. This next one is kind of surprising one, so like stay with me, but I think it fits really well. And the next song is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, and I picked Reckless by Elsie Silver, which I know is a cowboy fluffy romance, and this song is one of the saddest songs on the album. However, in this book, Winter, the main character, was married to this man, and he is awful dude before meeting our King Theo. But she was married to this god-awful guy who she didn't know was taking advantage of her younger sister, and he was just an awful dude. I feel like the lyrics, like you didn't measure up in any measure of a man, which that's how she views him. That's how he is. He does not measure up. He is not a man, he is a little worm on the side of the road. The next lyric is I don't miss what we had, but could someone give a message to the smallest man who ever lived. And like she doesn't miss him per se when her marriage goes up in flames, but she doesn't want him back. But like he really hurt her. Like they were married, and like it turns out the person you married is like an awful person. Like that cannot be easy. Like I don't even know you, and like he's literally the smallest man that ever lived. I am #1 hater in life. I don't even know his name, but I am his #1 hater. That's how irrelevant, that's how small he is. Though this, I was kind of teetering on this though, until this lyric came up, and it's you deserve prison but you won't get time. And literally this man literally deserves prison. Like it's not even like, oh, like he's a bad, like he broke her heart, he deserves prison. Like no, if you read the book, it's like he literally deserves prison time. That's what made me choose this. But it's still a super happy book. So definitely read it. It's a great romance, but that one part reminded me of this song. The next song is The Alchemy, like one of 2 love songs, a happy song she put on this album. I feel like she's like slid it in there, so she's like, I know you're about to like jump off a bridge right now, but here you go. And that's what The Alchemy and like So High School is, I feel. The Travis songs. And for The Alchemy, I chose The Deal by Al Kennedy. And I know Travis is a football player, but this is still a sports romance, and The Alchemy has a ton of sports references that I felt really related to this. And the one lyric is, because the sign on your heart said it's still reserved for me, honestly, who are we to fight the alchemy? And like kind of the song is like, oh, like who are we to fight it, like it only happens every once in a lifetime. I loved Hannah and Garrett. Like this book romance was so top tier, and I haven't read it in a long time, but at the time it was like the making of gold, and I feel like they're just so perfect for each other in this book. And the sign on Garrett's heart is always reserved for Hannah. And also the other lyric is the greatest in the league, where's the trophy, he just comes running over to me. That's so That's actually just so weird because like he's a hockey player, he's the star hockey player, but like she is number one, and I love that. So this book is such a sweet romance, and I love it. I think it's like the OG hockey romance, and if you're gonna read one, it should be this one. There might be better ones out there, but this one's the best in my opinion. The next song is Clara B, and I picked Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I picked this because this whole Carrie Soto being like coming back, like she was this famous tennis player. I think she got injured, but she's still trying to prove that like she was the it tennis player, that like she's the best in the world. And now she's getting older, and the new young things are starting to come and try to take her place, and she is basically saying like, I am not done yet, I am here to stay, I am on top of my game. But it's kind of like that thing, it's like this book kind of emulates the idea that like there will always be someone, like someone new is always going to come, like there's always going to be someone else, and that's just the cycle of how it works. And I feel like Clara B is kind of Taylor Swift talking about that, being like Clara B was the it girl of her time, and then Stevie Nicks was the it girl of her time, and now Taylor Swift is the it girl of our time, but there is going to be someone new. And the lyric is you look just like Taylor Swift, in this light we're loving it, you've got edge she never did. And whenever there is a new it person, they're like, with Carrie Soto, like the new girls come on, they're like, oh, like she can do, they're better than she ever was, but it's like she's the best of the best, and she's like, no, I'm still the best. I don't know if this is making sense. It's basically what Taylor Swift is describing in the song about being the top of your league, but like someone new is always coming, and it's basically that idea but in the tennis world. We are now on the next song is The Black Dog, and another very sad song, and this is gonna be kind of a happy book, so same thing as Reckless, but I feel like parts of it definitely fit, and I picked Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher for this. Getting really creative. I feel like because this is a second chance romance. The two main characters grew up together, and then something happened in college where he kind of broke up with her, and they had been through so much together. She's like, And then one of the lyrics is, I just don't understand how you don't miss me, and I feel like that's how she felt. And at the time, this is kind of like before the book even starts, and I move through the world with the heart broken, my longings stay unspoken, and I may never open up the way I did for you. And I feel like she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't talk about it much, but like she has moved through her life, like always having that space for Julian, and like he's always had that space for her. And this one was definitely the ones where I'd get creative, but I feel like their pre-story fits into the song. The next song is I'm Gonna Get You Back, and I have kind of a fun one for this one. It's kind of a fun song. I picked You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle because the song is kind of like, I haven't decided yet. Like I'm either gonna be the one lyric is whether I'm gonna be your wife or gonna smash up your bike. I haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna get you back. And in this book, the couple is engaged. The main characters are engaged. There's just something wrong. Like they're just bored, they're over it, they don't want to be together. Whoever ends it, it's gonna have to pay the non-refundable wedding bill. So they're kind of playing games with each other, like trying to push each other so far where they just leave. So kind of get you back, like the whether I'm gonna crash your bike, like do all this stuff to you, or along the time they start to kind of fall in love with each other. And so it kind of gets to that point where it's like, I haven't decided if I'm gonna, you know, drive you crazy or be your wife. I thought this book really fits perfectly with this song. This is a really cute book too. I thought it was sweet. The next song is The Albatross. The book that I chose for this is still Magnolia Park universe, but this is different characters. It is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, specifically because it's basically the song is she's the albatross, she's here to destroy you. You know what? I am not going to go into depth why, because it's a huge spoiler for why this song relates, but I'm just going to say the lyrics and leave it at that. She is the albatross, she is here to destroy you. Magnolia is here to destroy you. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for this one, because anything else is a major spoiler. Next song is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. And I, for this song, picked Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. And same thing as the Boys of Tom series, but this is Joey and Effa. And I picked this book because Joey has a lot of trauma from his father, and substance abuse issues. The one lyric that may remind me of it is back to the moment I crashed into you like so many wrecks do, too impaired by my youth to know what to do. And that really reminded me of like how Joey feels like a situation with Eva, because like he's just too impaired by what he's grown up with, the house he's grown up with, to know what to do having a healthy relationship or being in a relationship in general. And then the next lyric is you needed, is really like this book, where it's, I feel like this is more Eva's point of view, where it's you needed me but you needed drugs more and I couldn't watch it happen. Because there's a lot of times where like she has to be like, I just can't watch you go down this path. And he does need her, like he is so in love with her, but sometimes the drugs win. And in the book is kind of about like Joey kind of overcoming that and overcoming his family trauma. And yes, I feel like this definitely relates really well. The next song is How Did It End? Devastating song, by the way. For such a devastating song, you don't have to pick the bright pink book called Happy Place. But I chose this because Happy Place is a second chance romance about the couple is broken up and they've been together for so many years, but they don't want to ruin their like last like big friend group vacation. They have to be around each other, and like it's so devastating to be around each other. Like they're both so devastated about the breakup, and it's like the one lyric is, but I still don't know how did it end. And I feel like it's kind of questioning, it's like how did we get to this point, like what happened to us. And then the other lyric I felt worked was we were blind to unforeseen circumstances, we learned the right steps to different dances. And part of the breakup is like things that were totally out of their control, like things that they were just dealing with internally, and it was like unforeseen circumstances, and we learned the right steps to different dances. So like they were coping with what was going on in their lives very differently. I felt like Happy Place really related to that. The next song is So High School, and for this I chose the epitome of high school rom-com, and that is better than the movies. And I picked this just because I feel so high school whenever I read this book, and I love this book. It's just so happy and fun, just like the song. And in the song it's because I feel, one of the lyrics is because I feel so high school every time I look at you, but look at you. And I feel like that is kind of how Liz feels whenever she looks at Wes. My favorite lyric is, you know how to ball. I know Aristotle, and I just feel, I forgot if he plays a sport, but he's super popular, and she's definitely more of like an English girly, like much more nerdy, and I love that trope. So I feel like this totally relates to So High School. And the next song is I Hate It Here, and I picked the wrong book. I'm really sorry guys. The book is in my basement. I sincerely apologize. That's not the book I chose. I chose A Court of Flame and Shadow. I will put it right here. I picked this book because Nesta literally hates being in Valeris. She hates it there so much. She hates the town she grew up in. Like she literally just hates it there. I don't love Nesta, but she just hates it everywhere. And one of the lyrics is I hate it here, so I will go to the secret gardens of my mind. People need a key to get to, the only one is mine. And I feel like she loves to read, and like she kind of gets in her head a lot, and people need to get a key to get to, the only one is mine, because she's so closed off. Like she does not let anyone in. It takes a lot to let someone in. And so yeah, I chose that song. I chose that book for I Hate It Here. The next song is Thank You Amy, which is so funny. I chose Hot House Flower for this because Daisy in this book has she is tormented by girls at school because of things she just can't control with her sister and her family life. And one of the lyrics is, all the time that you were throwing punches, I was building something, and I can't forgive the way you made me feel, because she's a model and she was, you know, building her brand, her empire, and also building a relationship with the guy, like the love of her life. But she still can't forgive the way they made her feel because her friends from high school were awful to her. And the next lyric is, she wrote headlines in the local paper, laughing at each baby step I'd take. And I think, well, since she's famous, like people were always like writing things in the paper about her, and like she was always in the tabloids, and it really hurt her, obviously, because they were not usually nice things. Next song is I Look in People's Windows. I'm not going to say a lot about this because it's a major spoiler. The whole thing of I Look in People's Windows is I look in people's windows in case you're at their table. What if your eyes looked up and met mine one more time? I'm going to leave it there, but I feel like that lyric really relates super well to the song. I'm sorry guys, there's some of these books where I'm like, I just do not want to spoil it for you. Well, the next song is The Prophecy, and I chose Once Upon a Broken Heart. Don't know why. I was getting really bad at picking the wrong books, guys. I'm sorry. This is the third book, but you get the idea. Basically, in these books, Jax is cursed where whoever he kisses, who is not his true love, will die. Jax is stuck in all of these kind of prophecies and a lot of things and curses that he is so out of control that prevent him from being with Evangeline, and it also puts Evangeline in a ton of danger. So I feel like the song Jax would secretly have on his playlist, and it's But I Looked to the Sky and Said, Please, I've Been on My Knees, Change the Prophecy, because he knows who he is, he knows his curse, and it prevents him from being with Evangeline. He just wants to change the prophecy. Oh, and another lyric is Mine plays out like fools in a fable. It literally does play out like fools in a fable. That lyric is so perfect. The next song is Cassandra, and I do not have a physical copy of this book, but it is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because Cassandra really reminds me of Sejanus in the books, where the lyric is, so they killed Cassandra first because she feared the worst and tried to tell the town. It was early days of the Hunger Games. Sejanus was very against it. It was very outspoken about being against it. It got him into some hot water. That's all I'll say. Then the other lyric is, so they filled my cell with snakes. It's literally called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That one is just so perfect. This song I had a ton of trouble with, and it is Peter, because I didn't want to repeat Magnolia Parks. If I could repeat it, which I guess I could, but I'm not going to. That's what I would take. But for Peter, I'm going to choose Tell Me Lies, and I picked it because the lyric is, said you were gonna grow up and then you're gonna come find me, obviously. And then Promises oceans deep but never to keep. I chose this literally because this guy in this book literally sucks. He's the worst. He promises so many things and he just does not fulfill them, and honestly I hate this guy. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil it for anyone interested in reading. Yeah, I feel like this probably goes with it well. It's not perfect. This one is one of the ones where I got creative with it. Yeah, if I could have, I would have picked Magnolia Parks. Just sliding that in there for you. The next song is The Bolter, and when I immediately heard this song, I thought of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and Miss Selena moves from place to place to place. Like, she is always bolting. And one of the lyrics is, by all accounts, she almost drowned when she was 6 in frigid water. In her backstory, something very similar happens. Ended with the slam of a door, then he called her a whore, wish she wouldn't be sore. And a lot of men that she comes across before like meeting the one, you know, Sarah J. Maas, usually the first one isn't the end game, and usually they are scared of her or they cannot handle who she is, what she has to do. Then she bolts and goes somewhere new. And then another one is, all her fucking lives flashed before her eyes. It feels like the time she felt the ice then came out alive. And Miss Girl has lived a lot of fucking lives. Anyway, and she has failed. She failed, like, she gets in really low spots, but she always, girly Bob, always comes out on top. We love our bolter around here. This book I feel goes so perfectly with the bolter. The next song is Robin. Got super creative with this one because I had no idea for this, to be honest, but I feel like I got kind of somewhere, and I picked The Serpent, the Wings of Night for Robin because it is, you have no room in your dreams for regrets. You have no idea. The time will arrive for the cruel and the mean. And I basically picked this one because she is the girl, the main character, Aurea, is a human that grew up with the vampire king raising her. So she grew up in a world of vampires, being a human, and basically being like, the time will come for cruel and mean. Like, she has to be so cunning and so cutthroat and so mean to even possibly survive in this world. So I chose that for that reason. It also says, long you may reign, you're an animal, you are bloodthirsty. And honestly, the bloodthirsty vampire, like, come on. Like, I had to pick it. And the long you may reign, growing up in royalty, very loose for this. There are ways to make it relate, and I feel like it kind of does, to be honest. Now that I'm talking about it, like, it relates pretty well. And our last song, we have arrived, guys. 31 books, 31 songs. This has been really hard. It has been a fun time, and it is, I feel like I've been talking and talking for so long. So The last song is the Manuscript, and for this book I picked The Hunger Games because the lyric is, at the end she knew what agony had been for, the only thing that's left is the manuscript. This one I'm gonna spoil a little bit because it's been out for so long and it's kind of a classic, so I feel like this one I have a little bit more free reign to talk a little bit more candidly about it. And I feel like after getting back from the Hunger Games, she knew that it was like, she knew what the agony was for. Like, she did it for her sister, and then at the end of the revolution she knew what the agony was for, and the only thing that's left is the manuscript, being like the only thing left for her to do is rebuild her life. It's literally starting so fresh. And also, and the next lyric is, now and then I reread the manuscript, but the story is not mine anymore. And it's because now she is kind of like this prolific person. Like, she's not, like, she's a figure in history. Like, that is not just her story. Like, that is everyone's story now. We did it, guys. We did it. Honestly, I was getting a little stressed. I was losing a little hope there when I saw that Miss Taylor had released 31 songs, but I have found a way to relate a book to each and every one of them. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to make these videos, make a video for other Taylor Swift albums or just any other music albums, because this is really fun because I love music and I love books, so putting them together is so perfect. So if you guys liked this video, please let me know, and if you have any album suggestions, if you want me to do it for another album, I would totally do that. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys liked the recommendations. Let me know what you thought of the Torturous Poets department, and actually only tell me if you liked it because I will not take any criticisms. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you guys in my next week's video. Bye!